So, talk about writing. Bill says this is his favorite of all of mine. It's called Make Uncertainty Your Ally. Make uncertainty your ally, a wise man once said, and I took those words as if they were a skein of yarn, knitted them into a cloak, wrapping my dilemmas in its warmth. For that I am grateful. And the words, the warmth, the hope, and in hours and then moments of quiet desperation, I thought I would lose that thread and it would all unravel, but it didn't. And for that I am grateful. A caring friend called, another sent a letter, each knowing that I mattered to them. Yet I saw the darkness and cried, "Where is the light? Where is my light?" And then I let the thread go, like a balloon sailing in the air or a kite ready to be liberated. At first it felt like a leaf floating, relieved of being part of a tree, and then it felt like anguish, the uncertainty of the familiar. A voice, a message sails on the wind crying, "Reach for grace, the dignity of imperfection. Be grateful. You have touched the face of boredom. Boredom would torture you. Boredom would demean you. You came close and then you veered. Uncertainty did that for you. There is more to life than being certain. There is hope, a dream yet to be discovered. You cannot do it when you are assured. It must be done when you need an ally. Know they are there, all your allies. They are hidden in the invisible uncertainty. Be grateful, walk in dignity, have hope. Let the dream find you. You got rid of what didn't serve you. The smile will come. Your heart will fill with gladness. This is the promise of time. It is yours. Look no longer at what doesn't serve you. Go forth. Be grateful. Be.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you can see all around this wonderful Secret Handshake Gallery, there are broadsheets like this one. This is a part of the Secret Handshake publication series of broadsheets. So this one is mine, Naomi has one, and there's many all throughout the gallery. So with the, I want to share with you an encouragement that I got from the great Noreen Macmillan. She said, "Can you write a blessing?" I thought, I don't know, can I? So this is what I came up with. For those seeking souls who find these words, may your shining light emanate and light the way for others. When the voices of the dark appear trying to thwart you, become courageous and wise. Remember, the light within will illuminate the darkness. That is the essence of hope. And if that's not enough, may you learn to grow microgreens on the windowsill. May you enjoy a delicious cup of dark coffee if that is your pleasure, especially in the morning. And may you share a smile with a child and then comfort them when they cry. This is an act of formidable trust. So I had some fun with words, probably inspired by the way you write. So I call this treedom. You know, treedom. I am a poetriot. A poetriot?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, someone who poetically defends my country vigorously. This land is not my land, nor is it your land. Those who love trees and rivers and birds and breathable air are poetriots, defenders of treedom. It is in treedom that oxygen freely flows, where roots go down deep, deep into historic soil. In fighting for treedom, I stand with all trees, palms, maples, sequoias, yews, locusts, all of them. In treedom, birds confidently fly. Bugs give their beings to feed others. Leaves grow, hope aspires. In treedoms, dream rules as the winds waft through the branches, bussing each leaf, acknowledging each limb. In treedom, health and wealth are decided on what is bought and sold, and that determines the ethos of a culture, a society. In treedom, lies true freedom, to flee from greed to a world of the handy, opposable thumb. So as Helen said when I came in, Happy Passover, which will be the end of this week, or this week. So I wrote this just because I wrote it. Yasher koyach in Hebrew means have inherent strength. Inherent strength. Yasher koyach. Nefesh Yehudi means the soul or the spirit of a Jewish person. These words, Yasher koyach my nefesh Yehudi, have strength my Jewish soul, is like the mantra I use to encloak myself when leaving my home comforts. Even with broad-minded people, there is always the risk of awakening the sleeping dragon of the Jew-baiting anti-Semite ready to pounce. With this feeling ever so deeply ingrained leaves the awareness I call myself. I choose one Jewish metaphor to describe myself, haroset, the sweet, dark, spicy, nutty, tart mixture made for Passover Seder, one of the 6 Seder plates, an homage to slave labor in Egypt's Pharaoh time, the reason for the Exodus. Haroset resembles mortar. Mortar builds things, houses, outdoor ovens. Because Jews number few in population, we are noticed and well known for high achievements. I try to build friendships while remembering the haroset of apples and dates and wine and nuts. I think of people this way, full of goodness, sweetness, and with the intoxicating, alluring risks hidden in the dangers of nuts. I want to be accepted, not tolerated. Therefore, I must accept others, just as different to me as I am to them. Not easy, but definitely doable. I think of our foremother Esther, whose intelligence saved her people. My own orphaned biological mother, Yocheved, was responsible at age 7 for a younger brother and sister. These women and Ruth, whose compassion became synonymous with empathy, used the mortar of their own wisdom to build better societies. They are the woof and weft of the weaving of these cultures. When Vashti refused to parade naked in front of her husband's cadre of supporters, she was replaced by Esther, and through cunning and fortuitousness exposed calumny for what it is. At 7 years of age, at Cheder religious school, there was an Esther contest. I had no hope of winning. My family was unable to purchase my costume. Being self-conscious, yet enjoying the participation, I took a brown paper bag, drew a crown of crayon-colored jewels, borrowed my mother's flowery cotton skirt and elastic-necked blouse, marched down the aisle with a devil-may-care smile, fully expecting nothing but a good time, and for my ingenuity, I won. I won a confidence that is sown irrevocably in the decision-making process of my everyday. Never give up, give in, go forth, be creative. With the directive, Yasher koyach nefesh Yehudi, the mortar is in you. Built with sweetness, goodness, tartness, nuttiness, chutzpah, and always with the knowledge that with the nefesh Yehudi we are together, we are strong. I am with you, I am strong, I and you are strong, and we are all together. Yasher koyach.
Yay.
I want to actually use all of you. Exactly 3 weeks ago at 10 after 9 in the evening. Are you leaving, wonderful Raymond?
No, I came over here to get the
Okay,
pictures.
fine.
Yeah.
My voice went. It was just, I had nothing. It was the weirdest experience ever. So, without a voice, I can't teach, I can't speak, I couldn't use the phone. It's a very interesting experience. And then I got invited to a water ceremony on the Humber River.
Oh, yeah, I didn't go to that, sorry.
And when the elders started singing with the drum, my lower register came.
Wow.
It was very bizarre. Anyway, and then a week later, my middle register came, and now I'm waiting for the soprano to come back. So I would like to use all of you to see if I can try, not so much my soprano, but at least my singing voice. And this is the first lieder or art song that I ever wrote. It's in memory of Jane Vasey, who was the pianist for the Downchild Blues Band, but she was also involved with General Idea. And when she passed at a very early age of cancer, we were all devastated. Yellow sunset, golden dream, all life's glory hanging on a beam. A look, a smile, an instant stream, I give you all sparkling gleam. Up in the mountains, high on a hill, we share a taste of life's fulfill. A flickering ember, a glowing coal, a potpourri of wonder all in a bowl. Let's ride on the rainbow, let's sail the waves, and together let's sing. Oh, it's coming back. Thank you all for coming. I'm going to just basically love you and leave you and sit down. But before I do, I have the supreme honor of being today's MC with the support of, our, just the best friend anybody could have. But in addition to that, it's my honor to introduce to you this afternoon my friend, my co-worker at times, my inspiration, Canada's former parliamentary poet, Toronto's former poet laureate, and just a teacher, and the spirit that if you encounter George, you're immediately uplifted. George Elliott Clarke.
Holy smokes! I'm going to begin with something kind of unusual. Thank you so much though, honey, and Bill. So great to be here. All right, happy National Poetry Month, everybody. It is April. It is National Poetry Month, so we all got to be in that spirit too. I'm going to be reading from the I'm going to start with the Jewish-German philosopher Herbert Marcuse, who is also, of all things, a Marxist. Oh, I know I'm not supposed to talk about that. I'm not supposed to mention bad words like Marxist for crying out loud. Woo-hoo! But despite being a terrible thing, such as a Marxist, he has some great things to say about liberation. And this book is called Essay on Liberation. I bought this when I was 19, which is 44 years ago. I just turned 63. And I've kept it with me all these years, and it's very important to me. So I'm going to read just a little passage from this, because this is supposed to be poetry of joy. And so I'm going to read a passage talking about joy. So here it is. Beauty has the power to check aggression. It forbids and immobilizes the aggressor. The beautiful Medusa petrifies him who confronts her. Poseidon, the god with azure locks, slept with her in a soft meadow on a bed with springtime flowers. She is slain by Perseus from her truncated body. Springs the winged horse Pegasus, symbol of poetic imagination. And then, kinship of the beautiful, the divine, the poetic, but also kinship of the beautiful and unsublimated joy. Subsequently, the classical aesthetic, while insisting on the harmonious union of sensuousness, imagination, and reason in the beautiful, equally insisted on the objective, character of the beautiful as the form in which man and nature, I'll say people and nature, come into their own fulfillment. Right on. Thank you so very much. That's the kind of Marxism I'll vote for it. So I want to read now from this book, Red, and a couple of things just for fun. Yeah, just as we continue to celebrate, and I'm sorry for giving anybody my back here, so I'm going to try to keep moving around. This is a sestina. A sestina is a poem. It's 39 lines. It's 6 different stanzas, 7 different stanzas actually. But for the first 6 stanzas, the same 6 words are repeated as the last words of each line in different orders. And then the last stanza, all 6 words are used in 3 lines. This is one of my favorite poems of my own, and it's simply Sestina, April. It's a celebration of April and love, for crying out loud. And so here it is. After gods we surrender to lovers, seeking beauty that always satisfies. To revel in sunlit obscenities, every gay April in the spring tumult, and exultation in the filthiest crimes. Those conducted far from sunlight in those murky lairs reserved for lovers. But holy are the bid-time obscenities where lover pitches lover to a tumult, spicing bland sins with sugary crimes. In moonlight, dawn, and even April sunlight, thus lovers actually behave like lovers, having each other until the other satisfies. Having each other until the other satisfies. Nature in April floods in tumult. Its white churn washes away crimes. Its clarity is like water and sunlight, the ideal assemblage for real lovers who only turn away once love satisfies. Who only turn away once love satisfies. Once they have tasted joyful obscenities. In April, the young commit no crimes, but are as clean and honest as sunlight, and love each other as blamelessly as lovers, discovering like saints the ways sin satisfies. Discovering like saints the ways sin satisfies. Excusing each other of any obscenities while each one melts a tidal tumult. What is the month of love and sunlight? Ask all those who play April lovers. For 30 refreshing days it satisfies. All those poets of obscenities who find passion a physical tumult and conceive kisses as delicious crimes. Tell all the lovers that April satisfies. That its obscenities melt a glorious tumult, and that all its crimes dissolve to sunlight. And that all its crimes dissolve to sunlight.
Wow.
Sunny can, I would say honey, but honey rhymes with sunny. So honey can sing. And I've had occasion for the two of us to share the same stage, doing sorts of duets with poetry and her voice and so on. So this poem is a really simple, ridiculously simple poem. It's called James Brown's Rhetoric. Now I'm from Halifax. I grew up listening to Top 40 radio. That's how I got into poetry. So I wanted to be a songwriter. And of course, James Brown was one of those voices that was all around me. You know, it was everywhere. And of course, my mom especially, my late mom, unfortunately, I got to say that, she loved James Brown. Oh my God, she loved James Brown.
She wasn't the only one.
When I was 10 years old, 1970, when I was 10 years old, I'll never forget it, she decided to go to Montreal because James Brown's putting on a show. So she brought me with her to go out to Montreal so that she could go and hear James Brown. That's how deep the passion was, right? So I made this poem up based on the titles of James Brown songs. The big hits of the 50s into the 1960s.
Try me.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
It's all good. So keep in mind that I'm not going to sing anything. Here is James Brown's rhetoric. Think, I'll go crazy. I know it's true. Baby, you're right. I've got to change. It hurts to tell you. I got the feeling. I've got to cry. Don't let it happen to me. Please, please, please.
Oh.
It's a man's world. I got you bewildered. I won't plead no more. You're mine. You're mine. I'll never, never let you go. You made me love you. It was you. There must be a reason. You've got the power. Try me, prisoner of love. You were badass. I shouldn't be telling these kind of stories, but unfortunately, when Mr. Brown passed away, he got himself laid out in a gold casket, which is perfectly fine. He deserves it. Nice gold casket, perfectly fine. Cutting in, great way to go. Well, unfortunately, though, his estate was left in a kind of limbo. So the dude was laying up in that gold casket for a long time before they got him into the... Anyway, never mind. Still, it just goes to show, you got to have good lawyers and accountants and so on. You got that kind of money going on for you. I want to read one more poem from this book, and it's actually in the voice of the Russian poet. Actually, it's just like in the voice of... Well, it is in the voice of the Russian poet. Alexander Pushkin, who was black, and very proud of it, and wrote about it a lot in his lifetime, of course. And so I don't know any Russian, unfortunately, but I can read English, and I read a translation of this poem, which is titled "I Loved You Once." It's a good translation by Dudley Randall. But I was never really quite satisfied. Dudley Randall being an African-American poet, by the way. I was never really satisfied, so I thought, let me try to write my own version in English of Pushkin's poem, but try to capture the sense of it, and so on, with my own words, my own images, but still following Pushkin's lead. It's a short poem. I loved you once. I loved you once, thus tranquility quails. Rabbit love harries still my flesh and frame. But darling, let no cyclone havoc your sails. For though I'm hurting, I bear you no blame. I loved you recklessly in pure surrender. Welcome sorrows, jealousies, black and blue. A love as intense and intent and tender. God let another lover render you. I gotta switch over. Read a few things from J'accuse, and I'll mention I have some copies of J'accuse for sale. Only $20. Only $20. Thank you so much. That's it. Only $20. So I'll read a few things from that, but I'll read one more from this book. To the Poet. This is also another Pushkin poem, which I have retranslated from what I consider to be a dull English translation. And you gotta know this. The brother, Pushkin, he died in a duel. You might know that already, but I'll just mention it again, if you didn't know that already. So the guy had some passion. He was defending the honor of his wife, for crying out loud, against all kinds of nasty gossip and things. So he said, I'm going to meet you outside in the morning. I'm going to have a pistol. You're going to have a pistol. We're going to count off the paces. We're going to turn around. We're going to shoot at each other. And may the just man win. Well, of course, Pushkin didn't win. He unfortunately got shot and died trying to defend. But the reason why I bring that up is the man had passion. He had passion, for crying out loud. So I didn't like the translation that Constance Garnett did. Because to me, it was like so dull. No, it's not Pushkin. Pushkin's the guy who's like, he's got thunder and lightning going on, right? Passion. So this poem is called To the Poet. Pushkin's advice to all of us who are poets. Poet, damn you if you crave public love. People clap raucously, then fickle, stop. Fools don scholars' tassels, bray their critiques while crowds hoorays, chill or scald your marrow. Best to stand Caesar come, statue austere, its majesty, yes, to dwell defiant, castled in your own soul. free and aloof. Perfect your flowers, distill their dream liqueurs, but ignore all praise of your past confections. Judge for yourself your vineyard's hitty wine. Your strict taste dictates its vintage sweetness. Do you want joy? Let the pack bay and howl. Let them snarl and spit on your altar's flames and breathe your temple's triumphant perfumes. I'll just read a few pieces from this book, and I'll tell you about it very quickly. This is about poetry for joy, and unfortunately, this book is not really reveling in joy. But I do want to make the argument that, as I read some pieces from this book, that there is joy, and that's why I started with Marcuse. There is joy in struggle. There is joy in speaking truth to power. There is joy in simply writing poetry about anything at all that you need to write that poetry about. This book, J'accuse, it does have a very accusatory title. You have, J'accuse! I accuse! Or crying out loud, and some of you may be aware of the fact that I've stolen it, or lifted it, I should say, from Émile Zola's famous letter condemning the French Republic for its anti-Semitism versus Alfred Dreyfus, blaming him for essentially their loss in the Franco-Prussian War. And Zola came out after so many people were basically piling on to condemn Dreyfus. And Zola came out front page of a newspaper called Aurora, and said, this is all a lot of BS. He didn't put it that way. He said it a lot better than I am saying it right now. But he just basically said, the whole French government, you guys are a bunch of liars, you're a pack of liars, and you are guilty of the rankest anti-Semitism and refusal to accept the truth and speak the truth, and so on. So I borrowed that title quite conscientiously, because in this book I'm speaking back to, how can I put it? Well, the most simplest way is a collusion of broadcast media and social media that decided that because 3 years ago I would not say for sure what I was going to say in a paper I was planning to give on the grave issue of murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls, that therefore I might be guilty of colluding with people who conduct such kinds of violences. So it was a grotesque lie, and it was perpetrated by the CBC, which as far as I'm concerned has slid way downhill from the glory days. Thank you. And when I tried to point out that this was a completely incorrect disposition of myself, no one would allow me to speak back. No one. I was completely deplatformed, not allowed to answer back to the slurs and slander. So sorry that I have to bring up the serious issue. But the good news is I got to write this book.
You got a book?
I got to write this book. And while the folks who were so happy to tear me down 3 years ago have gone to their just rewards, which is oblivion, and so on. The book is here. And in this book, they will live, as Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, in infamy. So, I begin with, I won't take up too much more of your time, and I'll just read a few pieces. But I want to begin with a piece that no media would, even though I wrote this piece, it's called For the Murdered and the Missing a Spiritual. It's a dirge. And I will warn you that if any of you might feel triggered by this, that is my trigger warning. I don't think there's anything too vivid in what I'm about to read. But I did, when I wrote this dirge as a song and posted it to the Parliamentary Poetry website in November 2017, it was my personal response to this tragic issue. And by the way, I don't think I need to point this out, but I will point it out. I am part Indigenous, a fact that was also erased in the media frenzy to condemn me. So what's important here is I wrote this in November 2017, and all of this malarkey that got spewed in January, beginning in January 2020, and not one news outlet that was busy trying to condemn me would would pick up this poem, which was publicly available and had been publicly available for more than 2 years. So here it is. For the murder and the missing, a spiritual. Someone's guilty of 1,000,000 crimes. Blood on his hands. Death on his mind. To send my sister away, away. To put my mama in an unmarked grave. Why she got to be murdered? Why she got to go missing? This land is hers, so I heard. All the saints are insisting. Someone's got to sink in hell and rot. Dumped bones in bush or parking lot. Disappeared my auntie. Saw her die, exiled my daughter, served her misery. Why she got to be missing? Why she got to be murdered? Why I hear justice hissing like a viper in a graveyard? Someone's papa mapped a trail of tears. Someone's son paved a highway of tears. Why my sister gotta stumble down? Why my mama gotta tumble down? Why she got to go missing? Why she got to be martyred? Indigenous insisting justice for our massacred. Justice for our massacred. Someone's flag looks like blood on snow. Someone's history's a damn crime show to hurt my daughter. So she weep to wound my auntie while she sleep. Why she got to be murdered? Why she got to go missing? Martyred in mud, slush smeared from the Pa to Nipissing. Someone's guilty of 1,000,000 crimes from 5 centuries back down to next time. Ain't sorry to little sister rape or put my mama in her too soon grave. Why she got to be murdered? Why she got to go missing? Ain't all government alert to crimes of commission? Why don't Parliament just wail? How can this Parliament fail? Got to have justice insisting. No more murdered, no more missing, no more homicide, suicide, genocide, those screaming words that none can hide. No more trails and highways of tears, no more families cramming each a hearse. Time to put the guilty where they belong, on trial in jail by the end of this song. Why she got to go missing? Why she got to be murdered? Indigenous insisting justice for our massacre. Justice for our massacre. Justice, 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 justice for our massacre. Why she got to go missing? Why she got to be murdered? Just 2 more. And I want to thank you all so very, very much for your understanding and your attention.
So you're saying after all?
All right, that might be more chanting than singing. Yeah, but sometimes I do let it go out every now and then. I like that voice out.
Much appreciated.
Okay, thank you. You know, when my mom passed away in 2000, I wanted to write something about her. Geraldine Elizabeth Clarke was her name. And the reason why I'm George Elliott is because she had just turned 21 when I was born. So she designed my initials to match hers. So that was it. So great-grandfather, her grandfather was named George. She took Elliott from Elliott Ness. When she was pregnant, remember, she was only 20. When she was pregnant with me, she was watching The Untouchables in 1959, black and white television, right? So I'm gonna, my middle name's Elizabeth. I'm going to take Elliott, right, for my son. So there you go. And of course, Clarke's her name. But anyway, I couldn't write anything about her. It was just one of those things, and I still can't say I've written what I really need to write about her. I just can't. Holy smokes, I'm not going to get emotional, but that's the problem. I really find it was easier to write about my father, because I had more of a distant relationship, more estranged relationship with him, so it was actually easier to write about him. My mom was harder, but because of all this controversy, I knew I had to write about her because she was part Cherokee, which makes me part Cherokee. And she may also have been part Mi'kmaq, which would also make me part Mi'kmaq. I can prove the Cherokee for anyone who might want to question it. I can prove it. I got a Toronto lawyer and proved it for crying out loud. A Toronto lawyer. Bay Street. You know, so nobody can fight with that. Nobody can fuss with that. So I'm glad that we were able to establish that. So I've got a right to talk about what I need to talk about. So anyway, this poem is about recognizing her for all that she was, and it's still not the long poem it should be. Postponed but pertinent elegy for Geraldine Elizabeth Clarke, i.e. the original GEC, 1939 to 2000. Some say that I can say nothing about violence against Indigenous women. But there you are, part Cherokee, definitely. Plausibly part Mi'kmaq, too. And in your heart, all black. Limping, one leg shorter than the other, due to vitamin D deficiency imposed by Royal Canuck scientists. So may I not channel you, who birth canaled me. Still, no elegy is ever sufficient, nor is the elegiac a narcotic. Oh, you were ivory porcelain, as breakable as margarine is spreadable. And your husband, my father, denied you any symphonic happiness. Yep, he tried to fetch her an untamed dancer. And you desired love but feared the lover, or you desired the lover but feared his love. So audacious as an aria, emphatically ritzy, embodying a lady, and blamelessly stunning, every Black History Month saw you weighted down with Valentines. Such brown eyes, umber so burnt as to be black and cream-colored skin. And you had the nerve to debut 3 daycares to earn your own bread instead of baking it. Socialist, feminist, Alexa McDonough was your employee. It's true. Alexa McDonough was my kindergarten teacher working for my mom. Yes, you limped but never fell behind, skittered high heels over slick polished floors, lingering perfume through the air. Your savvy laughter embellished all, yet was pugnacious enough to knock the Queen of England off her throne. You'd jiggle earthquakingly while tossing back your curls like a rebel, hurling a Molotov cocktail. My father, your husband, thought bullish fists could cow you, go pow, 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 thuggish. And I, a boy, witnessed the bruises, the welts, the blood. But you fled, busted out of his P4W to have toasted raisin bread, sunny with butter, marinated cinnamon, or let Coca-Cola and Cheesies stand in occasionally for champagne and caviar. To savor crushed turnip with cream and salt, to relish wine and rye bread and Dijon mustard and smoked meat. To ogle Avon brochures gussied up a Midsummer Night's Dream variety Shakespeare, to mix T.S. Eliot with Tia Maria. Yes, you over-pampered brutes and clods, men who snickered into the booze you paid for to keep their love. You practiced the discipline of lies, espionage borrowed from true confessions, until too much became too much and you packed up and they were left kneeling, weeping. A fashionista, sadinista, no wonder your casket, Mom, is really a jewelry box. No wonder all diamonds fall dull, absent your enlightening beauty. Thus I bear witness to treasure, despite all opposing battery. I'll end up with one last piece, and it's a ballad. And again, I won't sing it, but it's about the trial that these two murderers of an Indigenous woman whose name was Pamela George received in Saskatchewan in 1996. Their sentences were reduced. Sorry, not their sentences, but the crime that they committed, which is essentially first-degree murder plus rape, was reduced at the sentencing to basically manslaughter. And then the sentences they were given were the lightest possible, which is basically 6.5 years, and they served 3.5. The judge was definitely racist, sexist, misogynist, ugly, horrible. So that's what this poem is about. His ponderous honor chose to try. A mother broke like pottery, her blood dark but buttery, to maul her in the mortuary. A squalid, pale-faced coterie had elected to try not murder but sluttery, tongues perfected battery. The accused snagged a lottery. Latin words could shadow flattery. A daughter had died of sluttery, not a plague of fungal battery. Only the mad hattery of a squatter court could try. A corpse for sluttery, vaunt southern comfort as poetry, whose tears were merely watery, that Jurassic coterie, students of classic poetry, whose lines lyric battery. A citizen's blood is glittery in the ditch, her breath jittery. The Milky Way turns buttery as she, martyr, flutters into poetry. I have no else way to try. Latinate voices fluttery in a squatter court, mad hattery, where the muse is murdered poetry, no shadow of a doubt. I want to thank you all so very much.
Well, last, but definitely not least, I don't know what to tell you or what to say about my very, very dear friend, Bill Bissett. You all have your own stories, and if you don't, then you'll get one. I don't know, Bill, I don't know what to say.
I don't know what to say either.
And here's Bill Bissett.
What can we say?
He's brilliant.
What can anyone say?
He's brilliant.
We're all brilliant. Everyone
Right
here
about
is
brilliant.
Stedman was outrageously brilliant.
Yeah.
George was awesome, he's brilliant. Honey was amazing, awesome, brilliant.
Yes.
I was genius. This is a genius time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, to continue with our poetry of joy, honestly, this is my very dear friend for 30, 40 years. We met in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island at the Milton Acorn Festival. And here we are. Bill and Henry have produced an incredible piece that I have the privilege of singing on called Embrace. It's on YouTube. That's the newest thing. And aside from that, I mean, how do you describe your very, very dearest friend? Everybody meet Bill Bissett.
Thank you very much. Last week was our great friend Vincent's birthday.
Oh, cool.
Starry, starry, give us one.
I was going to wear that today. The reason I was a little late, maybe not late, but something not early, I was having t-shirt anxiety. You know, would I wear this one or that one? So I wore this one, I carried this one. Okay, that's what.
You stand up.
A dream of northern skies. A dream of northern eyes. A dream of northern stars. A dream of northern skies. I dream of northern eyes. I dream of northern stars. I dream. Krishna Hayakishana Hayakrishna Chula Lo Sheli Baba Viti Shababa Shababa. I dream of northern stars. I dream of northern skies. I dream of northern eyes. I dream of northern skies. I dream of northern stars. I dream. You push him on a hayaki. You push him on a hayaki. Push him on a hayaki. Push it a hayaki. Push him on a hayaki. Push him on a hayaki. You fell from the sky, in from the sea, swam into my hand, I was there for you. Oh, what of the time, oh, what's the season, oh, was there a reason I was there for you? In from the sea, on nights on sand, I touched in the air, you were there for me. The ship is alive. It sails forever, in from the sea. Oh, honey, you were there for me. The waves come in, the stars are out. The sea, it sings like a dreamer's moaning. See, it roars, love comes in. Oh, sure, moons are spinning like a dreamer's coming. Oh, a dreaming of the night, a dreaming of the night. A dreaming of the fire, a dreaming of the rapture, honey, a dreaming of the fire. Oceana, oceana, oceania, oceana, oceania, oceana. Writing without stories. Meditations on Gold Mountain. 7. Sometimes nothing will get done if you work within linear causality. What if that person never comes? And then how can I this or that? The iceberg Kasturi, the third tree house on the left. Did the message get through? At last I'm sleepwalking, a parade of stars, of ATVs. OMG, I'm calling about the renewal and the reset. Emerald dreams are ebullient and full of mercy. The castle is ancien, looking for all the openings and discussions about faucets rapidly ensued. The mighty castle of love. Real dragon are in the moat. They are, no worry, so much is inside. Each magic box, fingers are expressions, and hold the clay cups for gold. Tea of the soul, drink opening are always happening there. It's an option, an opening on Venus. Only 12 hours away, you must carry the new fridge to the 12th remonstrance on a fleshy curve of in the hidden valley, looking for the openings and the sleepwalking theme. Weren't you captain of the Wraith Nebulae? You did want to see someone about a transfer? With life you never know. Meditations from Gold Mountain, softening the hard wiring and the self-patterning we all grow to identify with. Number 18, hand-wringing. Letting go of obsession, dissolving into a new paradigm, ratio, antique. Never were the tango steps on their head. Love is the greatest gift. You are family here, more than muskrats, more than Eleanor was waiting in the larkspur, whittling something and living in the coupe board emblem gabardine night. Marauder, tempest me, this maroon whisper slipped through. Gone, you are gone, gone, a titi, gone, avocado, a geo over, a coda, o tea, a coda, a k, daka, aka, va, va. David dug the hole. We only had one shovel. I held my best friend, Boo Boo, in his magic blanket and lowered him into his grave, kissing and hugging him, saying, I love you, Lil Boo, I love you. I couldn't get up from his grave. I wanted to be in too. I held out my arm, didn't look up, and Cindy pulled me up. We moved earth softly on him, then topsoil, made it all firm, and then big rocks. No raccoon could budge, and we all said we love you. It was near the ancient birch tree, a few meters from the river. He is a magic person. I talked to him there, and in my heart, he loved me unconditionally, and me him. Mostly people don't do that, but this was very conscious cat does. Even he's flying somewhere else, and me as well, beyond the fingers of time. When they had the big flood in Mattawa, that's in Mattawa a few years ago, he somehow got caught up in the floodwaters, and he started swimming to the middle of the river into shore, and he was heard to say, I ain't gonna fucking drown. He was great that way. Every night he told me stories before we crashed. Amazing. Amazing person. Why we? You love some people very much. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Some people love you very much. They're not always the same people. There's a spell. Full moon in Scorpio. You feel alone. It's a spell. Pray, however you do that, for all the millions of people going to spirit all over the world. Put them in the light, however you do that, so they don't feel so alone. I'm doing that tonight. Golden star, floating galaxy, mushroom dreams. If you feel unloved and left out, of something, the spell is our worries about all the people going to spirit. Breathe in and out, breathing out. Your breath is the candle in the dark. The light softly sing to them with. Thank you. Speaking of environmental issues, I don't think it's fair, really, of people trying to stop fish from farming. Do you? Why are people so mad at, say, salmon farming? Isn't that good for the salmon? All the exercise and the work and open air? Wouldn't farming make salmon stronger, more agile, more full of nutrients for us to benefit? If people don't want to farm themselves anymore, why not let the salmon do the farming? Why stop the salmon from farming? Isn't that their decision to make? And wouldn't it be good for all concerned? So it could be said, how could salmon farm on their fins to push the plows, etc.? Can they become primates overnight? And if not, can they really farm on their backs, as some claim? Can you imagine salmon floundering? As so many people have farmed on their backs, or was that farming? Here's a poem, it's in my new book, It's a Sailor's Life, and isn't it? And this poem was written with Naomi Hedrika Laufer, who is here today. And I was in Mattawa, and you were in Sumac, and we did it over the phone, you know, and we spent a few days on it, didn't we? We're devoted poets. We can't stop writing. It's great. And it's for Susan Spagnuolo, who had actually lost both her parents in a very short period of time, and that's what inspired Naomi and me to write this. And it's kind of an epic poem, isn't it? It's very epic, isn't it? Okay, I'll take a deep breath. I am from Sugarloaf Mountain, she said, written with Naomi Laufer, and I have seen the almost musical dirge and joyous uproar of generations coming into being and leaving this being here on earth, even with the waxing crescent moon signal for more departures and arrivals, often simultaneously within the same group or cluster, the crying and the laughing at the first cry, and the years later weeping for my mother and for my father. Another friend, she said, a striking deep trauma to falteringly rearrange inside me, and I am always unprepared for the continuing onslaught of the big changes, she said, and the guilt, anguish from accident, even, and the body's internal purposes, its agilities, and its letdowns in Sugarloaf Mountain. We loved and so enjoyed our waxing crescent moon nights, the sounds of the crickets and the peepers or pipers, the baby droves and frog songs mixing with the crickets, quite loud and amplified by the magic waters of the continuing river flow all around us, and the sadness of the dangers people make between each other, the war of receipts and competing accountabilities. Whose turf? What debt? What is it based on? Watching good friends go through divorce like nations warring and trying for peace, ceasefire, the onlooker's wish, and listening in the darkness, in the human brain, soul, and motor faculties. Is it only juvenilia to never want to live with anyone again because of the pain of separation? There was better air on Sugarloaf Mountain, too, she added, crying. We pray for luminous, lustrous, liquid, hot evenings under the crescent moon, still waxing here on Gold Mountain, and further still from Sugarloaf Mountain with peace bubbles for everyone and no killing from anyone, anywhere. And our friends like nations warring, we wish them peace and fairness, love and respect, and no fears. We wish and we hope we live in with the virus lets up. And when it lets up and we can all hug again, someday when we can thrive and be letting each other in, the sharing again. Even the moon is waning. We keep going through all the broken hearts, ours included, and we go through hurdles, and suddenly a good friend or talk with and clouds of experience lift, and fresh hopes and gladness. happen, and a bird shouts out on the unweeping willow, and we can go on, almost okay, and looking for more signals of acceptance and love, looking for some repair. Thank you. The fate of bugs on a windshield is harsh. What if that's you? Do you wonder about bugs on a windshield and what happens to them? Would you want to be one of them? Reincarnation blues? Help! Those bugs on a windshield might have a soul too. Help! Help! I don't know, I just write them. That was based on that movie with Richard Long, wasn't it? And he was married to Susan Ball for a while.
Oh, yeah?
And they both went to spirit very early. And it was the House of Wax or something. No, not the House of Wax. Okay, what was that one? Where this, the Fly. The Fly, yes.
Yeah.
And Vincent Price was in it, maybe?
Yeah.
Yes. And I think toward the end of the movie, Richard Long has become very tiny, and he's living inside a fly now. And he's going, help! Help! And that's the last we see of him, I think, in that movie. Yeah.
Mosquito bites you. You only get a bite.
Yes.
If you slap it, it gives its life for you.
Oh my God, aren't they
Yes,
courageous?
Buddha said that
I know.
many years ago.
That's
Waiting
brilliant.
for that movie.
Did you see the movie The Incredible
No.
Shrinking Man?
No.
Did anyone see that? Wasn't that amazing? Oh my God. Did you see that?
I
Kirby?
saw The Incredible Shrinking Woman.
Oh my God, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
Was it
Lily.
brilliant?
I think Lily. I love Lily Tomlin.
Oh, she amazing.
Yeah.
Who's seeing Tom Brady 80 now?
Tom
that-
Brady's
is that-
80? Oh, they're in that movie, The Brady for 80, 80 for Brady,
Brady
or
for
something.
80, yeah.
Well, darling, hello.
I know, we got it. Okay, excellent. That's a sweet of water. I have all these strange symptomologies, don't we all? You know, suddenly I get very thirsty and get dry mouth. Memories of different treatments go through my brain. And I have the symptoms, oh, that gives you dry mouth. Now I'm getting dry mouth. Excellent. It's nothing, don't worry about it.
I get it.
Oh, you get it too? Excellent.
Biotin. You can take biotin.
Yes,
Yeah.
What
yes.
is that?
Yeah.
It's for dry.
Oh, mouthwash.
Yes, but it's if you've got a dry mouth and you're nervous or something, you can swish it around and it coats your mouth.
It doesn't want to do the same thing.
No.
What was that?
It doesn't want to do
Oh, water, yes.
Yes.
Excellent.
It lasts longer.
Excellent.
Anyway, off topic.
I'm going to tell you that.
Next time I buy it, who's going to say that? No.
Water is excellent, you know. I
Hey,
think
water's
water is
good.
very
Water's
excellent.
good.
Excellent.
Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you didn't. I interrupted myself first. It's worth interrupting.
Can you interrupt yourself?
Pardon?
Can you interrupt yourself?
I do it all the time.
You're not interrupting anything.
Got the
Then I'm not
time.
interrupting. Maybe there's anyone else.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're all sharing. We're not interrupting. The bubble keeps changing.
I have to think about it.
Oh, I can do this one. Okay, so these are a few one-line poems that happen fairly close together. Okay, I'll just read a little more. A near-life experience. I saw a ship of snow and ice gliding through the river, soft and strong, heading toward the Silver Bridge. The silver mirage is changing always. Like silverware, we polish, burnish the vases, so responsive to our touching and rubbing. So many memories distill, transform with tending, elliptical, they're always, often becoming. Transient, golds and dots, dissolving and changing in the molecular tapestry. Wait, there's been a change, of course. My brain is changing. It's bigger now, almost too big for my skull, which is stretching to accommodate, contain its cerebellum. Growing the almost disappearing role of narrative in some of these realms, encircling and or overwhelming less and less. They're changing into the continuing strands of orchestrations we carry and distilling the edges of almost anything, parading through and by years and years of interaction, years of less so burnishing until almost golden. Every molecule is seeming shine and helps light our path through the snow. That was those ones were written. Hi, see you later.
Thanks, Bill. I have to go. I'm so sorry I have to go. I have an
Oh, it's
appointment
okay.
at 5.
Have a beautiful day.
Thank you. Lovely poetry.
Maybe it's 5 o'clock tomorrow now. Come back, you'll be late. That appointment was yesterday.
Lovely.
Oh, thank you. See you later. Have a great day. Intelligence is used to kill quickly, to kill slowly, to expand territory, to shrink the spirit, to prolong life, to help the spirit, to begin life, to end life, to destroy, etc., etc. And yet we're having a hard time saving the bananas, monarch butterflies, and bees. Overheard in a crowded cafe. Could we not prepare for the future by manufacturing powdered water now and storing it in vast quantities while we can for when we would really need it? Shut up, his friend said. Can't you see how hard that would be? All that packaging? It's way too much. I heard that in the Golden Griddle. Now the Golden Griddle isn't there.
Yeah.
So where did I hear it?
It sounds like something Bill Gates would come up with.
Yes, it's a Gates genius idea, isn't it? Yes.
Sort of.
Is the copper kettle still in the White Horse? Oh my God, Jesus. My heart's there.
Thank you guys very much. I very much appreciate it. Congratulations. Yes.
Have a beautiful journey.
Happy birthday, Kathleen!
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kathleen. Happy birthday to you.
Peace and love.
Peace and love for
Peace
sure.
and love, thank you.
Thank you. I'm just gonna read a couple more, I think. Excellent racing. All right. Just one more. I'll show them without. Veronica. Okay, excellent. Okay, excellent. Never mind, not to worry. It's always something. There's a missing poem again. Oh my God.
No.
How does that happen?
It cannot be.
It cannot be. I will not rest for this. Oh, I know. Well, I'm looking for. I'll read parts of other ones, and I will come to a close. Oh, yeah. So, a new opening. Veronica, if you were maple and acorn trees winding down along the desert sideboards, whenever telling whispers marginate all the dawn-held trestles as time and reefer opulence. Do you remember how you felt? Oh, when he said that, and you looking at him, oh, to me, to Louisiana, all the amazing days of emotion, meltingly streaming, tivering river, a leadening stretched out inside, and the falling snow everywhere, and the train going over the trestle. A time I never ever wanted to go. If everything is really my choosing, well, hello, good luck. I did sleep, breathing, and it says, we should leave it as a nautical first, and and the time and the dots musical and the mushroom clouds and the mushrooms and us shrooms galore. What a night, and so excellent, and a new shore I've never seen before, and a new log cabin, and went inside, and the Michigan cat was waiting for me, and he made a wonderful fuss, and we hugged and laid down by the river in an easing scene. Inside the eye got to continue the dream of what was extincting now for the next lapse that went with the brain changing, lift the roof of the brain each night during sleep. They met a little more and loosened some of the neural pathways and tightened some others, and the falling ice and the winding river usually, and the eyes and our bodies allow and the sun gleaming as I sank further into this winter reverie. This winter reverie. Hearing all our voices exclaim, and the full moon finding us, walking us all the way home. Thank you.